Start with DEI. Uh, I think DEI is just one of those policies that it's well intentioned. There's nothing wrong with what people want to achieve. They want to achieve representation of different people of color, women. The idea of maybe having like an indigenous person, or like there's a lot of things like I can get behind in terms of like the intentions. But once you start turning these kinds of policies into like administration, it starts to become a policy grift for me. And then when I think that when things start to become like a grift, when it's like people are experts of diversity, which is like, how do you become an expert in diversity exactly? I don't exactly know how that happens, but um, that's when the low integrity characters start coming in. And like, it's just when I see this individual at the ETF having their like nameplate online change and like thinking that nobody's gonna notice. It's like, who are these people? They have zero integrity. They're not willing to stand up for their own ideas. They're not willing to get fired. They're not willing to say, I stand for DEI, I want to get fired. So I just think that you get a well-intentioned idea, you get people in the policy world workshop it for years, and then you end up getting these low integrity grifters end up getting the jobs to implement these ideas, and they do things like this, which is insulting to the voter to do something like this. Like the people who represent ATF, they are supposed to be serving the voters. They're not supposed to be hiding things like this. They're supposed to have integrity, and we're supposed to trust them. So how do we trust people who act like this? So that's what I'll say about DEI. I think there has been a mandate
And
for yeah.
sorry to cut you off, Sunil, but you just reminded me of one thing. So I don't have any statistics to back this up. It's just purely anecdotal. But what I've noticed, just anecdotally in my life, is that all the people that I know that are ethnic minorities here in Canada, and I'm sure it's similar in the US as well, all the like ethnic minority people are against DEI. And the people that I find are the most in favor of DEI are white folks. Like I don't know like if there's like I'm just saying, right? Like I'm not trying to like single out any racial group or anybody, but this is just a trend that I've noticed. And it's all these like, suburban white liberals that are like super pushing the DEI and all the and DEI is supposed to be more beneficial if you're an ethnic minority, and all the ethnic minorities are like, whoa, like what are you doing, right? Like I don't want you to give me special treatment. You really don't have to do that. It's like when you go to your grandma's house and she's insisting that you eat like a fourth meal and you're like super full. You're like, you really don't have to. And your grandma thinks that she's doing you like a favor. It's like, oh, like I don't want you to go hungry. Like finish this. And you're like, no, I'm gonna throw up if you feed me any more food. It's kind of like that feeling, right? Where all the ethnic minorities are like, stop it with the DEI. Like we don't need it. We don't want it. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate you thinking about us. And all the white folks are like, no, no, no. Like you're black, you're Asian. Like here, have more benefits. You're a woman. Like let me give you. You're a black Asian woman. Who's also gay. Let me give you like all the benefits. Let me just like take out $500 from my wallet and stuff it in your pocket. Like seriously, guys, like you don't need to do this, right? Like, what do you think, Sunil? Do you think that what I'm saying has merit, or like
Is this staying on the pod, or is this gonna stay?
this is gonna stay?
Oh my
I think
god!
I think it should. I think it's an important topic actually, because I think that the white folk that uh, support DEI with a passion are very well intentioned. I don't think they're bad people. I think they want to do good. I just think that they should listen to people like us who say, my success, I don't want to be successful because you gave me like a charity thing. I don't want to be promoted out of charity. I want to be promoted because I earned it. And it undermines my success. If half my colleagues think that I only got promoted because I'm a brown guy, it's not cool. Like I don't want that. I don't want to be. I'd rather people be racist against me and not give me the job than for me to feel like I only got the job over more qualified people because I was brown. That doesn't. And the thing is that I may have gotten the job because I'm more qualified, but there's going to be people in the office that now think I only got the job because of DEI policies. So please, I know it's well intentioned, but like colored folk in this country do fairly well. Like we're very successful. I could say that for my community at least. Indian community in this country is successful. We do well. We don't need people to give us this ladder to get to the top. We will just work hard and get there ourselves. That's all I have to say. But I do not think the people who support the policy are bad people. I think they're very well-intentioned people, and there's a part of me that's conflicted where it's like I feel bad telling these people that they're kind of being silly because they're doing it for me. All I say is don't do it for me. Um, so that's my view on DEI, and I do find that there are a lot of people of color who are, especially men, who are pushing against it recently.
Like I guess we're keeping this on. Yeah, what's my opinions about it? Yeah, I think I don't need any extra brownie points. For example, like if you're doing a 100-meter dash against Usain Bolt, I'd want to face him like fair and square. Like I don't need to start like the 50-meter line, like just because I'm Asian, and I have like a disadvantage because I don't have the same, like genetic material as like Jamaicans per se, because they are like technically the fastest people in the world. So an even shot towards anything is probably more beneficial than us than getting that extra treatment. So I do understand that too. But don't cancel us. Holy crap. But yeah.
No, I think what we all said was true, right? Like, and I totally agree with everything you guys just said. It's just like and again, I agree with you, Sunil, that I think that the people who made these DEI policies, they're trying to do their best. They're trying to push back against racism. But what they don't realize is that by pushing back so hard against racism, they like overcorrected. And like it's like like the integer overflow like problem in computer science where like the number gets too big and it wraps around and it becomes the minimum possible number. It's like they're trying so hard to not be racist that they became racist. Like they became the villain that they're trying to destroy, right? Because DEI, if you push it to the extreme the way that it has been, it's like it's just basically at the fundamental level treating people differently based on their race, right? Like is that what it is, right? Like if there was a Harvard case where these like Asian students were suing Harvard because Harvard was saying that, or they weren't saying it, but it was pretty clear that there were too many Asians in the eyes of the admission officers at Harvard, because Asian students tend to have higher, SAT scores and all that stuff. It's like, oh, we can't have that many Asians. We need more racial balance. So if you're Asian, then we're gonna like kind of dox you a little bit in terms of the points. And then if you're Black or Hispanic or Aboriginal, they call them Native in America, you get boosted, right? So it's just it's treating people differently based on race at the end of the day, right? And I don't think that that's a path that we want to go on. And that's all I'll say about DEI. And I'll pass it back to you, Sunil, for your opinions on either what I said, or you can move on to the next topic about.
Yeah, I think you're right though when you said the word overcorrection. It's what DEI was an overcorrection, and some people are arguing what Trump's doing is an overcorrection. Maybe it is. I don't know. I think there's probably room for some policies that open representation to other people. It's just when it gets instituted like this, and then you're saying that Asian people can't get into Harvard, and it's like, what the hell was the point of this policy if now you're saying that some people of color can get into Harvard and some can't, or if all of a sudden some like grifter online starts to say the Indian people are oppressor class because Hindu Indians are economically in a better spot than other people in the country. Like, what's the point of this policy if you're going to like start categorizing everybody, and then it just becomes racist, and that's kind of what happens. And it was an overcorrection, and now what Trump's doing might be an overcorrection, but there is a backlash, and he has a mandate to do it. So I don't know what else to say about it, but like, don't show so much sympathy for us. It's okay. We're gonna make it. People like us do well in this country. So like, you don't need to help us that much. Is all I have to say. But I appreciate the thought. And am I good to move on to the next topics? Okay, cool. So the next thing I think was border security. Trump has a clear mandate to deal with the border security and the immigration crisis. I think that seeing pictures of families being ripped out of like or crying at the border is heartbreaking. But I think that the issue is that these people who put out these imagery are always trying to weaponize sympathy. And when it comes down to it, laws are laws. You can't just walk into a country and live there without official status. There, like my whole family, I have a large family in Canada, and they all immigrated to Canada between 1968 and like 2005. Like I had people that came in the 90s. Nobody skipped the line. Everybody went through the process. Everybody went through the pain of Canada's immigration system. Everybody had to go and work bad jobs in order to get their status. And then when we see people be able to skip the line, that hurts us. That actually hurts us that like that the system isn't fair. So if you're gonna come to America or Canada illegally, I'm sorry, you broke the law and you have to get deported now. And that's just how it's gonna be. And it's gonna be heartbreaking to watch some of it. It's gonna be harsh to watch. And but nobody like Biden didn't have to let 16 million people flow across the border. He could have like controlled the border. He could have done something. He didn't have to open up. There's already asylum laws in place. Countries like Canada and America take in so many refugees on a per capita basis in the last 50, 60 years. Like we're countries that got built on people coming here seeking asylum. We have asylum laws. Use the asylum laws. And if you still don't qualify, I'm sorry. That's just how the system works. Some people just don't make it through the system. I don't know what else to say. I do believe Canada should take in refugees. I just don't believe that half the people that are claiming asylum in this country are actually legitimately claiming it. And that's kind of what I have to say. And I feel the same way. I think the same is happening in the United States. So I think that in the end it's heartbreaking, but I think Trump has a strong mandate to do it. In terms of like Canada's angle on this, I really hope he doesn't institute tariffs on February 1st. I think it'd be devastating to Canada. I think Daniel Smith is actually correct that Canada is going to get its ass kicked if we do this. We just don't have the economic power to fight the world's superpower. I also think that Canada should take our border security seriously. So if Trump is asking us to take our border security seriously, like it shouldn't be a threat of a tariff that makes Canada act wisely on these things. So that's kind of what I have to say about that. Uh, and and the last thing I'll say is that I mean, like, I'm a Canadian. I want the Liberals to like win this fight with Trump and not and have no tariffs come on Canadian goods on February 1st. But my fear is that the Liberals are not acting in good faith. I think they want to fight because they think the fight's going to help them electorally, and I really hope I'm wrong about that. But that's my fear when it comes to that policy. I don't know if the Liberals are acting in good faith right now. I think they want to fight. I think they want this tariff battle because I think that in their kind of twisted mind, they believe that this is going to help them electorally. So I really hope I'm wrong about that, and I hope they prove me wrong about that.